If you find yourself starting your workday feeling a bit scattered, overwhelmed, and you're not really sure where to start, I am going to suggest that you create a startup routine for yourself, and if you're a Notion user, to create a startup dashboard. A startup ritual is going to look really different from person to person, but it can be a really helpful way to sort of press the reset button and to make sure that you know what you want to get done by the end of the day. It can also be a chance to review your goals, review your personal principles, and just kind of do a bit of a check-in before you dive into work. If other things come in throughout the day, that's fine. As long as I know what my most important thing for the day is, I can proceed with a little bit more clarity and alignment before I start trying to tackle my task list. I'm going to jump in and show you a little tour of my startup page, and hopefully it gives you some inspiration for what you might want to do to make your own startup ritual. So here is my startup page, and I'll just zoom in a little bit so that you can see it in a little bit more detail. This is basically the page that I come to every single day before I start my workday. On the left-hand side, I've got my daily journal. And if you've seen some of my other videos around theming, you'll know that I love to theme my days. So this basically acts like a recommendation engine. And it says, today is a deep work day. I need to write my newsletter, create my YouTube video. I'm studying my unschool education track. And I have a checkbox here for my morning routine. I already know what I'm supposed to be focused on today because it's right here in this little snapshot. Then I have a list of my basic morning routine. So in an ideal world, I wake up at 8:30 a.m. I drink a glass of water, do a workout. I also have a link if I want to jump right to the Lululemon studio, which is where I do my workouts. I've got my skincare makeup routine, dress for the day, make coffee, eat breakfast, etc. Taking my vitamins. Now you'll notice here there's a little toggle. I'm going to open this up and show you what's here. So I've got a number of Notion buttons here, and let me just open up one of these so you can see what's happening here. So basically, if I click this, it is going to edit the supplements relation in my journal, and it's going to add omega-3. So why don't I do that? I'm going to click the button, and I can see it's edited in one page. So if I open this up, I can scroll down and see that omega was added to supplements. It's just an easier way of doing that instead of clicking here, looking for the supplement, clicking again, etc., which is a little bit more timely. So for the things that I do in a really recurring fashion, I'm going to include them here. So let's add vitamin D, probiotic, etc. So that just gives me a super easy place to click and add those vitamins. Fill my water and optional turn on diffusers. Now, these are checkboxes, but I don't actually check them off. It's more like a checklist, so I could use bullet points here if I wanted to. But this just basically reminds me what is a good morning routine. This could look very different for you. Maybe you like to start your day with journaling or something different, maybe going for a walk. You can include all of this here. Once I've done this morning routine, I click here. If I don't do my morning routine, I don't click that, and I can track that in other ways in my journal to see how many days do I actually do my morning routine. Does that influence how productive I am, etc. And then on the right-hand side, I've got this get aligned area. And this is just one way that I make sure that I am living by my principles. So I've got a principles database, and I open this up. Again, you could do this as a simple list. I actually do have a database, so I can open these up and I can actually see more information about these. I can open this up and you'll see there's some stuff in there. But again, this could absolutely be a really simple list. And I just review these every morning. I also have a link here to the actual principles database as well. Then I set my intention for the day. This is just a linked version of my journal database, which is right here as well. I could go and open this up and actually put my intention here, but I like to actually just separate it out as part of a process. So the journal just acts as a visual snapshot on the left, and then on the right, this is where I can just click on this and scroll through and choose which one. And that way I'm not distracted by all the other properties in the journal, if that makes sense. So I set my intention for today. So let's say I intend to do something fun today. Great. And then I'll log today's workout. I have another video on how I do my tracking there, but generally speaking, I have a recurring template here that posts every day, and I can connect it to today's journal. Now I can fill out all of this stuff right here. I can also just open up this workout here and I can connect to today's journal. And you can see that that attached it to today's journal. And then I have presets here. So I tend to take the things that I do most often and attach them here. So for example, if I did an intermediate total body workout, I can just click on that and that automatically populates all of those properties. And then it even changed the name of the entry. Great. So there's my workout logged for today. And then I decide on today's win the day action, which is basically the one most important thing of the day. Some people like to choose 3. I just like to choose one most important thing every day. So today, that's going to be my YouTube video. It's a really simple act, but just asking yourself what you plan to do by the end of the day. What is the one thing that you are committed to? And making it known, making it clear to yourself. I find just taking that moment to set that intention makes me so much more likely to do it than if I'm jumping into a task list with a whole bunch of tasks on it. It's just asking me to slow down for a minute and ask myself, what is realistic for me to do today? So choosing my one most important action of the day. Now to me, that is a awesome startup routine. If I do this and I check these off, I'm happy and I'm good to go, and I can click in to actually start my day. If I want to go take it a step further, I can look at the day's actions. So I've got a board view by status, and I can look at all of my actions. Now, generally speaking, I like to hide anything that's set for later. I don't need to see those because I do that as part of my end of day and my end of week routine. So I don't need to be seeing all of my later tasks. I need to see what's on deck right now and next. So I will go through here and I can move these into now. I can move these into in progress when I'm ready to do them. So for example, currently working on my YouTube video, I'll drag that into in progress. Now I try not to have more than 3 in progress items for myself. One thing I could also do here as well is to sum up the hours. So this is giving me an estimate of 3.5 hours to do these activities. And I can see here there's a backlog of 11 hours and 2.5 hours. So it just gives me an idea of what is realistic for assigning myself tasks for today. And then once I've done that and I feel satisfied with what I've put on my plate for today, then I click on my today page, which is where the work actually happens and where it gets done. That will be a topic for another day. But that's it. This is my startup page. It's a really simple page. The startup page shouldn't include every single thing that's on your plate and all of your goals and a high-level view. The startup page is really about helping you get focused for the day ahead, and whatever that looks like for you. You might have other things that you want to review before you start your day, depending on whether you work with other team members, etc. And for me, my today page actually focuses on administrative work first because that helps me get things done for my team members so that they can get their day started. And then once I've done some of those administrative tasks, then I jump into focus. I'm not going to get into that dashboard today. That's a whole other rabbit hole that we could go down. But today I just wanted to focus on the power of this startup page. It's so powerful to set your intention at the beginning of the day before you jump into work and before you get distracted. Ask yourself, what is the one most important thing that you want to get done today, and then build a morning routine that helps support you in building that focus. Again, this is a morning routine that works for me. I know that if I do these things before I start the day, I'm going to set myself up for success. If I do a workout in the morning, I know I'm going to have a lot more energy in the afternoon. That's just what works for me. But I do encourage you to ask yourself, what is a good morning routine that really helps you feel energized and excited to start the day? It's probably going to look different than mine. Consider making yourself a page to help you do that stuff really easily. Make use of Notion's automation and buttons to help you set some of that stuff up really quickly, and have some fun with it. Don't be afraid to play. I really think this startup page has had a huge impact on the way that I feel when I start the day. It's just a quick pause before I jump in and the chaos of the day begins. I am much more likely to follow through on my most important task if I actually decide on it at the beginning of the day. So I hope you'll consider making yourself a startup page. If you do, I'd love to see what you create. I'm always curious what other people do and what's working for you. So please let me know in the comments below and have fun making your startup ritual. If you like this startup ritual idea, you might also really like the Daily Meeze. The Daily Meeze is basically the reverse of the startup ritual. It is a shutdown ritual. It's inspired by the book Everything in Its Place by Dan Charnas. I highly recommend it. You can check out the video below where I give you a little bit of a tour of what mine looks like and might give you some ideas for how you can do your own shutdown ritual. When you create a habit out of these startup and shutdown rituals, you make it a lot more likely that you're going to be actually following through on your tasks, and hopefully your backlog won't be quite as long. So definitely check out that video, and I will see you next time.